Hello, my dear beer lovers. Welcome to the channel of Bierliebhaberei. My name is Bier and I'm a beer sommelier. I think you have maybe seen my channel once or twice. Today is the first time I do it in English because I met Anikó on the Austrian Beer Challenge. And today I'm so grateful that I can welcome her to my channel. She did a really great presentation about food pairing, and today we're going to talk about food pairing. Welcome, Anikó.
Thank you. It's glad to be here. Straight from Finland, actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've missed, right? Hello to Finland. So you have done. You have done an amazing presentation about food pairing and showed the whole audience how good food pairing is. Anikó, maybe so because I know you, but maybe you can say some words about you so that everyone gets to know you.
Yeah. So, hello everybody. My name is Anikó Lehtinen. I'm from Finland, and actually I work with beer in many fields. I'm a journalist, and I'm the chef editor of the only Finnish beer magazine called Posti, which means Beer Post. Then I'm the chairman of the Finnish beer consumer union called Liitto, and I also write Finnish travel books with beer and food together with my friend beer sommelier Maria Markus. And on top of it, I also teach in one of the Horeca schools in Finland, Laurea, restaurant students how to serve beer, how to describe beer, how to do beer and food pairing, how to do everything with beer. So mainly my life is beer.
Wow, that's amazing. So, but how did your connection come from food pairings with beer? So, or your whole love to beer?
Well, actually, I love food, and I'm from Hungary, even though I live in Finland. And in Hungary, we always eat when we drink, and I think that's something that if you combine beer and food, you get more than just beer and food. So by combining these two, you get an extra kind of a wow when they really match together. And that's something that I look for every combination. I look for the wow, and that's why I think it's so interesting to combine beer and food, because sometimes you get the wow and sometimes you don't, and you don't always know beforehand.
Yeah, definitely. But you're thinking a lot, like, how could this work and couldn't this work? And sometimes you think that's 100% sure should gain a wow, but then it's definitely not. And sometimes you think, hey, that's impossible. It could fit, and then you say, then you have this wow effect, right? So, but one was the point where you started with your food pairing love. Like you said, you have done it all the time, but there's this moment, right, where you recognize, hey, this is food pairing and I love food pairing.
Yeah, actually, I was working in Sinebrukov, which is Carlsberg, Finland, and my job was actually there to collect information about beer. And I started to wonder why in Finland, actually, at that time, it was like 10, 15 years ago, nobody talked about beer and food. It was always just wine and food, wine and food. And then I tasted Sinebrukov Porter, which is actually an Imperial Stout. And with that, I tasted some blue cheese, and that was like the first, okay, they can fit together. Then I started to experience different kind of beers and different kind of food, and it was a whole new world. Opened up, like, wow, you can do this and that. And it's not just about the sausages and not just about the greasy food with beer, which is like the traditional thing. You can eat salads, you can eat Asian food, desserts, ice cream with beer. You can do everything with beer, basically.
Yeah, beer is having much more aromas than, for example, wine, right? So there are so many more combinations possible. Really, really great. But you have mentioned it now. You're from Finland. In Finland, is there a lot of food pairing? Are the people thinking about food pairing?
Not that much with beer, even though Finland has always been a beer country because we don't have, grapes in Finland. We are too north. But I think, because beer has been all around all history, it's like too common for many people that when they want to do food pairing, they do it with wine because wine is fancier. And that's why beer is a little bit too common. I think now in 5 years with the craft beer boom and all this, we've been going kind of in a higher level because we have more different beer types. We used to have a lager country. Now we have sour beers, we have barrel aged beers, we have different kind of IPA beers. So I think now the restaurants are kind of waking up that okay, there's like so many beers that we can choose. We don't have to pair food with wine, and also consumers are more and more thinking about it. So I would say that we are in the beginning in our beer and food journey, but we're getting there.
That's really, really exciting. I've tried 1-2 Finnish beers because there is someone in Berlin who distributes them. So, and there's so many different styles that you can get. So, is there a lot of like craft beer bars and so on in Finland?
Yes, we started to craft beer industry kind of late because of law issues as well. I would say that the first kind of a boom of craft breweries came in 2013. We had then like 30 craft beer breweries. Now we have 140. So it's been really like quick, the race. And I think now we have a lot of craft beer bars in Finland, in all the cities, and people are really interested about craft beers. I think it's something that, especially with Finnish craft beers, people want to have local craft beers. So if you come to Finland, everybody's welcome. There's like a lot of beer to taste, a lot of different beers.
I definitely will come over. I love Finland, so be sure about this. Generally, but in this craft beer pubs, or also maybe restaurants that you have in Finland, do they do food pairing?
Some of them do, but I think it's still more like craft beer bars. They only have beer mostly, and then the food restaurants, they have food, but they are getting closer. I think there's like snacks and pizzas and tacos and food like that in craft beer bars as well, and those are actually really good to practice beer and food pairing because they have the same kind of aromas that on any other food, so you can try with those. They're really easygoing, so maybe it's a good thing that people start with those first.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You have to start with something, right? Talking about yes. Craft beer. Yeah. And I know that, you're a big ambassador for beer food pairings. You have brought 3 tips for amazing food pairings you easily can do at home. And they are right in front of me, and I can't wait for trying them, right? So there's we have decided now for a Kriek with full milk chocolate. I have taken one with 30% now. Then we have a blue cheese with an IPA, and we have salami with a stout. I'm already so excited how this could taste, right?
Yes, and I prepared all of these that actually they are kind of good with like mixing up as well, because I think when I do a tasting and a beer and food pairing, and always pick up some like foods that you can taste after you tasted them with the beer which was planned. After that you can taste them like crisscross and make your own opinion, because that's sometimes it's a wow. Sometimes it's actually another beer which is better. So, and it always creates discussion as well, which I think the essence of mixing beer and food is that we can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Every human tastes differently, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you taste this beer with the chocolate, for example. and you don't know how I taste it. So there's nothing we can argue, but we can discuss what we understand of it and how amazing it is. And you just have said in the beginning that you started with an imperial stout with blue cheese, right? And now we have the blue cheese of the IPA. So whoa, I'm already excited what's going to happen now. Shall we start?
Yes, maybe we could start with milk chocolate. I mean, going backwards, milk chocolate and Kriek. And actually, I have Finnish products here because we are in Finland. So the beers are Finnish. And my first one is, this is not a lambic because you can't call it lambic because it's not made in Belgium. But it's a lambic style beer with cherries and made with wild yeast. Actually collected from the Finnish nature. So really close to lambic. This is a brewery called Malleskoski, which is in up more north Finland, and they do quite a lot of these wild yeast beers, different kind of.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was a little boring, so I've taken the Lindemann's Kriek, even not the Ode Kriek, so the one that has additionally sugar in it. But I think it's a Kriek that you can easily get in the retail in some countries. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have taken this one. And it's a really nice combination. You have now the Finnish one, and I have like more the, let's say, the common one.
Yeah, the international one. Because actually, that's a very good idea because we do have that same beer, for example, in Finland. And that's one of the beers that, you know, if there's a people who are not drinking beer, that's something that I recommend with the desserts because it's not very beer-like, I would say.
Yeah, it's a little like a cherry juice, a cherry wine maybe, but this one, the normal Kriek, it's really sweet, so it has a lot of sweetness in it. So how do we start now?
Yeah, we can start. And I mean, normally what I do, I first experience the beer. So I look at the color. I mean, they are really cherry-like, the color. Yeah. And then, of course, the nose. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's probably more sweet, but this is kind of fruity as well. I picked it up, so it's not too sour. Mm-hmm. This one is really like cherry-like and fruity.
Yeah, mine is more than a cherry dessert with some yogurt or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is kind of, and then of course we taste the beer.
Cheers.
Mm. It's fruity. It's a cherry. I mean, this really like you can feel the sour cherries in this. And really kind of typical Kriek-like beer. And then, after you have the taste of the beer or the flavor of the beer, you take a piece of chocolate. Mm-hmm. I have Finnish milk chocolate, but I mean it's similar to. Yeah. And let it melt all over your mouth, and then, when you swallow the chocolate, oh, this is good. Then you take another sip of beer. And then you think about how the beer changed, how the chocolate changed, and how they taste together. And for me, I mean, with this beer, this is an excellent kind of a little bit like a chocolate cherry cake dessert, I would say. Yeah. It tastes really similar to that you have a really rich chocolate cake and some cherry kind of a sauce or cherry in the middle of the cake or something. So it's really feels like this one. How does it your feel?
Well, I definitely have when I've tried it this wow effect. Because I know how chocolate tastes and I know how this beer tastes, right? But the combination, it was so impressive because it changed so much the aromas. It went so much balance. The acidity went also a little down. But the cherry notes the sherry aromas, they were still quite strong in it. And the chocolate was a little, I would say, smoother. Also, the texture changed a little.
Yes, and because of beer has carbon dioxide, and that's something that like cleans the memory and takes away the grease in your mouth. I mean, because milk chocolate is kind of greasy, but then I mean the milk chocolate becomes, I think, like you said, smoother and kind of a more, got a lot of aromas, not just the sugar and the grease. And at the same point, the lambic beer, the Kriek beer, I think it's not that sour. And you can feel almost the kind of the flesh of the berry. There's like more of that aroma. It's really like more juicy and less tart and less sour. This is one of my favorite combinations. Not the favorite, but one of my favorite combinations. I really love this one.
Yeah, it's really dangerous because you're not tasting alcohol anymore. It just went into a dessert where you can like drink and eat the whole time. Not too good for body and also not for the head the next morning.
Yeah, but then again, the alcohol absorbs differently when you eat a lot. So.
Yeah. Good one.
Yes. Shall we move on to the next one?
Let's show your second choice.
And that's the blue cheese and the IPA. Mm-hmm. And this is something actually, first I tasted this combination in Brooklyn Brewery in States with the brewmaster Garrett Oliver. And I was like, this can be good. But I really liked it. It's maybe a little more challenging than the first one, but really nice. And I have a collaboration beer with a Finnish brewery and then English brewery called Brew York. And this is an IPA. It's kind of a hoppy and but modern kind of IPA, so it's a little bit hazy as well. Let's see. And what do you have?
Yeah, well, I have taken here the Meisels and Friends IPA. It's one of the most drunken IPAs in Germany. I mean, through our size, right? It's not too. Beer is quite local, so it's not too easy to have a beer all over distributed in Germany. They do it more or less, and it has a really good money for value. So it's not too expensive, but the quality is quite good, and especially when you start with beers and you don't want to touch like these really strong, fruity, hazy, whatever IPAs. That's your choice, definitely. That's the beer you should take.
And I have a Finnish blue cheese from Peltola, which is really kind of a French style. So it has plenty of grease and taste as well.
Yeah, I've taken here a quite normal Bavarian blue cheese, and we have the Alps up front, so we have a lot of cows and also cheese. So that's why I've taken also here the local one, but it gets quite close to like a gorgonzola, I would say.
Let's taste.
Yeah, definitely.
First, again, the beer, and I mean, now we have a hoppy beer, and with the hops, I mean, hops are quite strong in aroma, but they cut down the grease as well, and then they cleanse the palate like carbon dioxide does, and I think that's the reason why hoppy beers are normally served with kind of greasy food, hamburgers, French fries, sausages, meats, cheeses, and because of the hoppiness, it can feel kind of harsh without the food. But I think a lot of hoppy beers, they open up with the food. Same like a lot of red wines open up with the food. So I think hoppy beers and red wines are kind of similar in this case.
Yeah, definitely. But also, and that's for me always quite important. It's also good, like with roasted vegetables, like like really extremely eggplants, or when you have a cabbage. That I just have had a barbecue style cabbage out of the oven. And this was also with an IPA in my menu, and it fits so pretty. So it's a really good combination always.
Yes, and Asian food as well. For example, Indian curries are really, really nice with IPAs because they kind of, there's a lot of taste there that actually, a lot of going on, and IPA kind of answers to that really beautifully. Let's start. Let's taste the beer.
Yeah.
Mine is American with American hops.
Mine as well. It's really fruity aromas that I do have, like all these tropical fruits that you get in your nose typically.
Mine too. There's like a lot of grapefruit, pineapple, mango. A lot of these notes are going around. I mean, in the aroma, and also when you taste it, there's fruitiness, a little bit of sweetness though as well. And then the aftertaste, I like it when it's kind of a hoppy. So I like it when the aftertaste is long and bitter and kind of a citrusy. And this has that kind of aftertaste.
Yeah, definitely. So also, and I don't know if this is now important for our pairing, but also the body increases when you get it in your mouth, right? So it's get like a little more like a milkshake, not really like a milkshake, but a little more in this direction.
Yes. I mean, I think it's important because the cheese is really, I mean, blue cheese is really kind of a strong cheese, so it needs a body from the beer.
Okay.
Let's try the cheese. I love blue cheese, so. Again, let the cheese melt. And when it has been melted, then try. Yeah, I mean, this combination works for me. I mean, there's the kind of a really strict saltiness of the cheese melts down. Cheese gets more creamy, and then the hoppiness, which was kind of a hard in the aftertaste, it's comes more citrusy and not that like strong, I would say.
You're getting like kind of a peak of salt, of the sugar sweetness. The bitterness goes a little down, so it went so balanced in your mouth.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of salt in the cheese, and there is a body and sweetness in the beer. I mean, now you can feel it because I mean, I don't know if I feel the IPA sweetness that much if I just drink the IPA, but with this cheese you get the body more, and it's kind of a, I think, melts down really nicely and beautiful combination.
Yeah, definitely, really cool, and really surprising. I haven't expected what I really had now, and what I also now have. What you also said is like this long taste afterwards. It stays so long, so I still have it on my throat, and I still can re-taste it.
Yes, and for example, I mean, if you have like vegetables and then you bake them with blue cheese, I mean, IPA is one of the best, I mean, beers for that, because then you have like the baked little bit sweet vegetables and then the salty blue cheese on top of it, and then some IPA. That's like really nice.
That sounds amazing. I'm definitely going to try this week.
And this is something that people don't, I mean, normally wait for, because I mean, blue cheese is normally it's in food pairings. It's normally with barley wines and you know, with imperial stouts or Trappist beers. So it's not normal to serve IPA and blue cheese. So I always like to kind of you know, do something that people don't expect.
And this was definitely surprisingly, and when you do it home, you definitely need to try it. It's amazing.
Then we have the last one. I think that's the most traditional one maybe, but it's also good to have like one traditional one. So we have the stout, and then we have some salami. I have a local one again. This is Takatalo Tompuri, which is a funny name brewery. It's actually a really old barley farmer. The farm is over 300 years old itself. So they've been farming barley for a very long time. And this brewery won the best Finnish beer competition this year. From over 400 beers, they beer, not this one though, but they beer were the best.
Whoa.
And then of course I have local salami from Helsinki. So very, very local one.
Yeah, with salami, I was the same. I mean, I usually don't eat meat anymore. I eat it quite seldom, like once, twice a month. And I went to the butcher and I was like, "Hey, can I have some salami?" And I totally forgot, like, there's thousands of salamis. So I've really taken the standard original one with a normal level of fattiness. And my beer also there. Today I'm the boring one because I have taken
The international one.
yeah the Guinness one. So when you're talking about stout, I think that's the reference, right? And also a beer that I just think Guinness beer you get everywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's good. And I think it's good to have pairings that you can relate to. I mean, you can buy the same. Because I mean, these are more like, I mean, you don't get them just in Finland, so it's good to have like a reference which is international. But like I previously said, I mean, if somebody tries it at home, they can try them, I mean, like back and forth as well, because I think probably more or less you can eat them and discover more combinations if you want to try the milk chocolate with stout or the blue cheese with the Kriek and stuff like that. So you can do your own combinations as well.
Yeah, but I think, or from what we have had so far, your combinations, so like they were so amazing, you definitely have to try them, and then afterwards you should go for the other ones. I can imagine that the stout fits also to the blue cheese. I can imagine stout also fits to milk chocolate, but I think it doesn't fit that good to milk chocolate than it does than the Kriek does. So the Kriek was amazing.
And now we can start with the meat. Again, and it's kind of greasy, have a lot of like kind of a strong aromas or meaty aromas like umami, salt.
Yeah.
Let's try the beer with it.
Oh, this was also a surprise.
Yeah, it is surprising. I mean, because I think in stouts and porters, there's the black malt, which is like really dry and a little bit burned, and it's kind of takes away to the fattiness of the salami, and makes it more. It's not that like too umamis. It comes a little bit lighter, and at the same time, I think the roasting of the beer. It comes a little bit more like even sweet maltiness, so it's not that dry anymore.
Yeah, well, and what I realized is salami is having acidity, but you don't realize it that much when you eat it, and the same for the stout. But in this combination, like there was like this peak of the acidity that finally fit so well in your mouth to the whole thing. So in this combination, the acidity gained so much, what I haven't expected.
Yes, I mean this is I think the most traditional kind of a combination of pairing beer and food, but still working. And if we think about, I mean, the British food, it's mostly like this. It's mostly there is like the fattiness and umami and salt, and that's why I think these stouts and porters are like this. So they come together with the food.
Yeah, and I think especially salami and Guinness, you have just said it's like so traditional, and there are things that work like for centuries now, and I can imagine so well people in the medieval ages, they were sitting in a pub and they had their rye bread, they had salami, and then they had the stout with it. So this is like a typical combination from my point of view that works since centuries because it's simply great, right?
And works still. And I mean, in my beer and food pairing, I always like to present something which is like unexpectable, something which is traditional, and then something with the dessert. Those are my three kind of rules, and they came here because of the IPA, and blue cheese is a little bit unexpected. Then the dessert part was the chocolate, and then of course the traditional one, which was the salami and the stout.
Yeah, it was like a really good sweet court menu that we have had, and your combination of food pairing beers with it. We just went the other way around, so I think you also could do it like in a real restaurant atmosphere, right? First a little savory, and in the end something really sweet.
Yes. So actually, mini 3-course menu.
Yeah, exactly. And just to summarize it, so we have had the Kriek in the beginning with the milk chocolate. Then we have had the blue cheese with the IPA, and then we have had the salami in combination for our food pairing with the stout.
Exactly.
And that's how you would everyone recommend to try at home food pairing, right?
Yeah, this is a really easy way. I mean, because most people love chocolate. I mean, not everybody loves blue cheese, but then those people who love it, they really love it. And then salami is something which is really common in all European countries, some kind of salami. So I think this is a really easy way to experience. And if you are not familiar with beers, I mean, you can, through these foods, which are more common to us, you can kind of experience the new beer styles as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I even think when people don't like blue cheese, when they try this combination, because this combination gives both the beer and the cheese so much, maybe even then they might like the blue cheese. So it's definitely something you should try.
Yes, yes. I can say that in Finland during Christmas time, we eat the blue cheese with the cookie, with the gingerbread cookie. So that's something that if you want to, try something really different, you can try that.
That sounds typical Finnish. And also, therefore, I can imagine you're really good on IPA. I definitely need to try it this winter season. Perfect. Anikó, what is your favorite food pairing with beer?
Well, I have, like I said, many, but something which is really surprising is that if you take Gose beer, which is a little salty beer, it's a light kind of there's a little bit of sourness and then the saltiness of the beer. And then you mix it, you taste it with licorice, which is this black candy. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting when you taste it in your mouth, it becomes like this salty, sweet candy, which is actually in Finland called salmiakki. And it's something totally different. You should definitely try that because it's the mix of the Gose beer and the black licorice candy. It's something which is really unique. And once you tried it, you love it.
Oh, that sounds great. For me, Gose is one of the best beers you can use for food pairing because you have the wheat malt here also in it, and you have a little spiciness and salt and a high acidity. So it also, especially when you say you cook a lot with vegetables, it's a really good fit to especially vegetables because it gives them a lot that they need in cooking. So.
Yes, it's one of my favorite beer styles because you can use it actually the similar way as you can use European Riesling wine because there's the acidity. So if you cook risottos and stuff like that, you can use it instead of white wine in the risotto and with the risotto. And I mean, like you, I mainly eat vegetables. So at home we cook a lot of vegetables and then some fish as well. Finland is famous for the fish, and Gose is one of the best beers with like fish dishes and vegetable dishes and like I said risotto with the risotto. It's really nice.
Oh, no, I'm getting really, really hungry. So I think that we need to stop now because I have to jump into the kitchen and do some cooking, I think. Is there anything you want to share in the end for the other people on the other side of the screen?
Well, I mean, suggest that people taste beer and food, that you don't have to know the combinations beforehand. I mean, the best way is that, everybody, if you have like 4 friends, everybody brings, for example, 2 different beers. And then you have different cheeses and salamis and chocolates in the table. And you just like taste them and talk with each other. And it's something that really, I mean, the talking about the combinations and tasting everything, it's something that really you can find yourself that you like a beer that you thought that you're never gonna like. So it opens up a new world if you just just try to kind of combine everything. So it's not, it shouldn't be too hard, I would say. And there's 2 things that you can do which fit to every beer, and there's like Gouda cheese and toffee. Those are the ones you cannot try all the beers with those, because they are mild in taste, a lot of grease and a lot of sugar, a lot of salt. So you can start with those.
Yeah, or leave them out because they are the winner anyway, right? Perfect. Thanks a lot for your time. It's really, really appreciated that you have been here today. I have learned a lot about food pairing by you. I hope everyone else that is looking now this video has learned a lot. And I mean, you are a lot on Instagram, and you can follow you easily and see what exciting food and beer adventures you're going to do. So that's why here down there, please follow Anikó on Instagram. Yeah, I think that's it. And have a great day, have a great time, and have great food pairings. Bye bye.
Bye.